Hi guys, my name's AJ. I'm the head of performance for Barrage, and I'm super pumped to be in playoffs, mainly to show how good my team is, how good Barrage is. I can't wait.
They're going to put a bit of damage in, but Wazel's getting chunked, and now Dibu may just look for that charge. Nulty once again way too far forward, and that's a big charge by Dibu as Kevu jumps onto the back line for the moment. Singularity's Hellfires are once again just butter to the hot knife that is Barrage, and Fiore going to get assassinated by Kevo. Here comes the charge from Dibu. Nulty on that run, but Prosper puts the pillar up. You're cancelling out everything, and now he's looking for the kill. I think this might just be Granite losing members, although Tamon actually doing so much work there. Here comes Quicktimer. Quicktimer's going to...
We're BTXL, and we're here to win it all.
Now, did they just lose to the Nexus? Poise is going to try and do something here, and that is XL having to get running away. But Dustin continues to chase. Here comes a Rome, a free Magnar into the spear. They didn't lose to the Nexus. Dusty got baited. It's the old switcheroo.
We are officially into the NLC playoffs now. This is where the big boy matches start to happen. We have got some best of threes coming your way, and we've got two absolute corkers to start things off with as well. I will get into that. Obviously, we have two wonderful analysts with me today on the desk, Trouble and Gulborg. Trouble, I've got to say, your apartment looks better every time that I see it on the cast. It's slowly getting more and more. It's going to getting more and more fashionable.
I don't
nice.
have a sofa yet, and I don't have curtains, so stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. Well, see, exactly. We've got more to build, and it's already looking great. Guys, if you want to get involved at home, we have our Player of the Day vote. So make sure you go and check out our socials, NLC LOL. And as you see, we're really ramping it up towards the end of the season. We are giving away a boatload of RP in our playoff weeks. And of course, that will go all the way on to the NLC final week as well. But NLC LOL on our social media channels, go and check it out. Free RP. Everybody wants it. Of course you do. Now, guys, as I said, we have two really sort of big matches coming your way. The two winners bracket, or rather upper bracket matches. We're going to start things off with the best of three. So if we can bring the bracket up, we should be able to have a look at where we are. And as you'll see, our upper bracket semi-final, both of them will be doing today. XL versus Barrage, Fnatic Rising versus Tricked. And of course, throughout the week, we'll then bring you the continuing matches of Nordavind and Kova and Singularity and Granite. And then I believe we'll also have some elimination matches towards the end of the week as well. But BTXL and Barrage, Fnatic versus Tricked, these are some absolute smashers. Yeah, I'm not saying bangers because Gulborg is going to flame me if I say bangers. So there's some smashers to start this week off with. And I'm excited for both of these matches. I think, it's hard to call the absolute favorites here, even though BTXL and Fnatic do come in, I think, as kind of like the expected winners. But Barrage and Tricked have both looked really good. And I think I'd like to open up the discussion with you guys before we start to move through the day. These two semi-finals, which do you think is actually going to be the closest?
I think it's going to be BTXL versus Barrage, because out of Barrage and Tricked, I feel like Barrage have shown more potential, and specifically due to the fact that I've said so many times that I believe the Barrage bot lane is one of the best bot lanes we have in the NLC. If they can manage to snowball through that side of the map, it could potentially result in them getting the game. I won't say the series, because the top side of BTXL just looks so freaking good. Like overall, May, Markun, and Hatrix are just three lane kingdoms. You cannot take them down. And I think, yes, even though BTXL and Barrage, I believe, will be the closest match we have today, I think I also voted against Barrage. I think I went for something 2-1. So.
And honestly,
yeah.
I agree with Trouble as well. I think that Barrage has definitely been the team that looked way nicer in form in terms of at the end of the split, while Tricked had a really good start but started to kind of look faltering towards the end of it. Fnatic at the same time haven't been as convincing, so if this game were to be close, I'd say it'd be of the teams not performing at their best and not because they're both performing at the best they could.
I think what I've taken away from this split is that, yes, XL have looked good. Yes, Fnatic have looked good, but they haven't looked infallible. They haven't looked completely unbeatable. And actually, Fnatic Rising on the previous split, I think they did look unbeatable. I think Fnatic Rising were one of the teams from the previous split where I said, well, I don't think anybody's taking this team down realistically. So I think there are spaces to exploit. I don't think XL have looked absolutely insane. I think there have been some areas. They obviously haven't. I think XL have got an upgraded roster from the previous split. I think I can go out there and say that, straight up. But I do think there are opportunities for some surprises and for some upsets to happen, because I do believe, even though Barrage and Tricked are incredible teams. It would be an upset if they were to win their series today.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Honestly, oh, sorry, Travel, go on.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Go for it.
All right, yeah, and I think what's interesting about this as well is that in terms of talent, like I think there's a lot of non-academy teams that came into this split and surprised all of us. Like we talk Granite, but obviously now Barrage and Trick now is one of these teams where like there is a chance where they can take games, and you know you have a chance every single game in the series. So if you can get those games rolling, you might as well take it when an academy team is not showing up. Because as you said, Scoundrel, they are a bit infallible, whatever that word is. I kind of tried to replicate.
Infallible.
Well, look, we have got Foxdrop on the cast today, and so you know there is
Just don't listen to him. Whatever
listen
what
to
he
Foxdrop.
says, do not say it.
Actually, do you know what? I'm gonna let Foxdrop tell you what that word means. Actually, in one of our breaks, I'm gonna let Foxdrop tell you what that word means, and I'm just gonna see what he comes up with. As I said previously, our first best of will be the BTXL Barrage series. We are starting an hour earlier today, and that is because we do have 2 potential best of 3s, which could go all the way to 6 matches. So we just need to create a little bit more time to fit those potential 6 matches in. And after the conclusion of the BTXL Barrage game, we'll have that Fnatic Rising and Tricked matchup following. So,
Okay, so are you up for talking win conditions?
yes, I would love to. And I think, Trouble, you have clearly just suggested that you were again constant win conditions to highlight. So Trouble, win conditions, hit me.
I'm ready because I'm saying Barrage will not win the best of 3, don't get me wrong. But if they were to do it, BTXL are coming from a group stage where they went 9-1. Only Nordavind was able to snatch a single win off of them. And that's because they pushed or rollmate to his limits. They perma-camped him top on the Gnar. He was never able to transform into a monster in the later on to come team fights. And they choked the top side of the map so hard that Makoon was not able to do Makoon things in the jungle just because he didn't have the priority from that side of the map. So if there was ever an upset, we know that Kevo and Sefe are very strong on their own. I don't believe that getting an advantage through the bottom that's that large will get them the victory. So I think attacking a roamer could be the plan here for Barrage.
Yeah, and honestly, it doesn't really have to come from Debo alone. It's also the fact that Seth has been really good when he's been roaming out on the map. He's strong in lane, but he's also strong in facilitating champions that go out and have an impact that's running around with Debo in the jungle. This guy has a lot of kill participation on his team, and he is one of the driving factors for when Barrage actually have success.
And then obviously looking at the other side of the best of 3 that we have today, the Fnatic Rising versus Tricked. What do you guys think about that? Like, where do Tricked look to exploit Fnatic?
Bring the old Tricked back. Bring the Ashe and the Maokai bot lane. Bring all the weird stuff in the jungle. Just bring these drafts that you don't know where what is going where. Bring these drafts that is just so obnoxious to play against. Bring the moon staffs back. Bring everything back. Because I feel like this was what Tricked's identity was at the start of the split. The fact that you didn't know what they were going to play all over the map. The fact that they were playing all these weird sort of compositions. The poke compositions. The saplings with the Maokai AP bot lane. Then other stuff around the map. Then weird junglers. Like, bring this back because conventional will just not beat Fnatic.
Yeah, honestly, it's definitely a win condition that you could go for. We've seen it work for Tricked in the past. I also think that I want to see these guys take more chances on their solo laners, because Fnatic is a team where they like to roam around with rocks on the map together with Maxi on the jungle duo. So if you try to play too much for bot lane, they're really good at alleviating that pressure and actually just back off and play for the rest of the map. I would love to see Paulson and Nili be played for. I think Nili has had one of the best splits in a long time. He's been really underwhelming for a long time, but this split has been the best I've seen Nili, and I would love to see them prove that with him going up against Pride.
Well, of course, we are looking at the angles where we could overthrow the academy teams right now. But obviously, when we look at it from a sort of blanket perspective, or just looking at it from the top-down view, XL and Fnatic come in as favorites. What do XL and Fnatic? How do they get their wins? Like, is it just playing through the strength of their jungle in XL? Like, what are the areas that we just expect to see them performing in order for them to take these series?
So in the NLC, we've actually got a First Blood King, and that First Blood King is on BTXL. Macoon is sitting on a 70% first blood ratio in the jungle. When there is success for BTXL in the early game, it's coming from that guy. He's honestly a young prodigy who's got a lot to prove, but I think he'll be able to deliver on it. He's been doing it so far. A bit shaky in the beginning, but up until the later stages of the game, when BTXL get going in the early game, they have a really easy time closing the game out by basic macro.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Gobook to go for Marcoon right there because I'm clearly number one fangirl over here. Like at the end of the day, I'll have like a Marcoon flag behind me that says "Put Marcoon in the LEC right now. What in the world are you doing?" Yeah, I'm just not going to continue because I think Gobook said it very well.
Sure. And I think I agree with both of you. And obviously, Marcoon, and especially the top side of the map for XL in general, has been one of the strongest in our competition. I think, if not just the strongest top side in our competition as a whole. Let's have a look at the predictions for today. Let's have a look at where you guys have pledged your early. Oh, wow. It's a clean sweep. It's a clean sweep. The only wavering right now is that Hitbrain and Orcs have given one game to Tricked in the Fnatic Rising Tricked series. But realistically, everybody has 2-0 bombshelled the competition in these predictions.
To me, that's kind of interesting. I expected one of you guys to give Barrage a game. I think Barrage is the team that's most likely to take a game today. But yeah, we all just went with 2-0, so that's really surprising to me. Well, I did it because I thought BTXL gonna come in players, gonna show utter dominance, but I still think Barrage is like out of the non-academy teams, I think they've been performing the best.
Honestly, I was literally just about to say the same. It is so weird how at the start we were like, okay, which series is going to be the closest out of the two? And we agreed on the BTXL Barrage because Barrage seems to be a better team on paper than Tricked. And yet we haven't given any of them a win because I quite frankly also believe that BTXL is a better team than Fnatic. I'm just going to say this. I didn't say it very loud because, taking precautions here, but yeah, unfortunately, if it was Barrage Fnatic, I could have possibly even given them the series, but because they have to face BTXL today,
yeah, it's a really interesting one because in my head, I think that Barrage and Tricked are pretty good. Barrage have looked really good in their second half of the split. But then I'm just like, then you have to go to another level. Like, then you have to take that to another level to beat Fnatic and beat XL. And, Barrage got that win versus Fnatic in the early split, but that was with a substitute top laner. And look, you can say what you want about the substitute top laner not being the issue there, but it clearly wasn't a full strength Fnatic. It clearly wasn't Fnatic firing on all cylinders. And every time Fnatic has faced the teams in their group beyond that, it has generally been relatively dominant. And XL had a bit of a wobble. As you said, they lost one game in the split. They had a little bit of a wobble. But other than that, they have looked relatively dominant. It has been hard to touch this XL roster. And as you both correctly mentioned, I think they've got the strongest top side. And look, Deadly and Adfian, they're not exactly a bad bot lane. They are top 3 bot lanes in this entire competition. It's their entire map is super strong, and Hatrix is very, very stalwart, very dependable in the mid lane. So it's you have to raise your game again to take on the likes of XL.
Yeah, and I want to see what actually is going to go on with this XL bot lane, because with BTXL, we've always said it's the deadly game, but I don't feel like that's been the case this split. I honestly feel like there's been a lot of room for other members to shine, and to me, that's what's most interesting. I think Deadly has been like the most, like the guy in the back who's just been chilling while the team has been there. And I want to see him show up today in a game that's so bot lane dependent between these two games. And at the end, I think he's making a strong case for the best support in the league as well, together with Rock. So bot lane is definitely going to be an interesting matchup today.
Yeah, and I think I don't think Deadly's been underwhelming. I think underwhelming is the wrong word.
Yeah,
he just didn't have to.
He just exactly have to do much, that's exactly it, Tropic. He just hasn't had to do the Deadly that he was doing last split, where he was the resource hog and just carried games, because he's got so much carry potential on this roster, even from the jungle now as well, which is obviously something that I think XL were lacking. Don't get me wrong, Taxa played his role well, but Taxa was never big carry boy. Like he never put the team on his back and carried them. Taxa played for his lanes, whereas Marcoon, he can do both if he needs to, and he can play that carry role from the jungle. Guys, we've talked for ages. We have our first best of 3 coming your way after a short break. That draft is ready to go. We'll see you soon.
If you wanna find love, then you gotta have faith. The world is on your side. The world is on your side. If you wanna find love, then you got to have faith. The world will be your guide. The world will be your guide. No, I don't care. No one can tear you down. We'll lift you up. It's about here and now. Yeah, you're gonna find love. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Love like Bunny and Clyde. Love like right till we die. Down like thieves in the night. Love like Bunny and Clyde. Love like right till we die. Down like thieves in the night. If you wanna find love, then you gotta have faith. The world is on your side. The world is on your side. If you wanna find love, then you got to have faith. The world will be your guide. The world will be your guide. No, I don't care. No one can tear you down. We'll lift you up. It's about here and now. Yeah, you're gonna find love. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Love like Bunny and Clyde. Love like right till we die. Down like thieves in the night. Love like Bunny and Clyde. Love like right till we die. Down like thieves in the night. Love like Bunny and Clyde. Love like right till we die. Down like thieves in the night. Love like Bunny and Clyde. Love like right till we die. Down like thieves in the night.
Beyond the lover's bloodshot eyes, another ocean opens wide. Our love is sick but still alive. Then all our hearts would radiate and melt the sadness we create. Only then could we survive. Let's
We are heading into draft for our first game of this best of three. I can actually say this now. Best of three. We're in series. We are in playoff mode. We have got inter-series adjustments that can be made as well.
Keeper can say we've got a series in our hands if we're going to game three. Yeah.
We've got a series in our hands, all that kind of good stuff. Of course, it is Excel versus Barrage. It is going to be finally where we see some Group A versus Group B teams. Barrage were obviously in a hyper-competitive Group B where we had a lot of strong performers. Excel really were head and shoulders above the pack in their respective group as well. And when you talk to a lot of these teams, and we had some discussions with them, especially when we were doing like off-air interviews, a lot of them were saying, I don't think Group A is as strong as Group B. I think XL have had an easy ride. I think there hasn't been the strength of competition that there was in Group B. I know Trouble's making a face, but this is what the players were kind of thinking. So it's interesting to see that now in action, where that theory can be tested.
They get to prove it, right?
Do that. Yeah, exactly. You've got to prove it.
Right.
As we said, we're into draft now. Lilia banned straight away. Marcoon has been a bit of a Lilia monster, so they're taking that off the cards.
And that's what I want to see. I want to see how much you think the jungle is going to have an impact on this map. Even Caitlyn being taken away from Deadly. Not a champion we've been seeing a lot, but a champion that got a few buffs on the newest patch as well. And with that, I also want to see what about the champion pool of Arome. We've been seeing in the other series across the national leagues that Camille has been a extremely powerful pick with almost no counters. Yes, you see the Renekton and the Volibear being picked into it, but it always outscales on side lane. And I'm interested to see if that's something you value that Arome can get his hands on as well towards this draft. But so far, no Seraphine ban yet either. So there are some of these tier 1 picks still available this year as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of stylistic choice these teams are going to go for in their composition.
This screams to me first pick Kai'Sa, specifically because of the Thresh ban. You eliminate the Thresh Aphelios threat if you go towards something like a Kai'Sa. And in all honesty, I really want to see Kevo on Kai'Sa. He absolutely shined last time he played it. Now they have the chance to do it. But also you need to take away from Advi and Darrell because he's an absolute monster. He roams all the time from Marcoon when he's playing Darrell. And now they do get to give it over, but then you have so many other good combos that you can play with.
Rel is just by far my favorite champion to watch at the moment. It was a champion that took a while for teams to pick Honor because they felt she was a bit clunky. But right now in this meta where everyone is so dog pally, you got great disengage, you got great engage, and you synergize so well with a lot of champions because they dive in. You have your E on them, and you set up a stun until crash down Magnustorm as well. Like there's so many possibilities with this champion, and it's why it's like priority number 1 for a lot of supports. We see a standard pick being coming in towards it. It's the Alistar. It's kind of a neutralizing matchup. Whoever goes in first kind of loses because the other one goes on your AD. So the AD carry can't do damage. So a matchup where mind games are really important for the 2 supports. And then, despite the nerfs, Olaf is coming through for Marcoon.
Yeah, Olaf is still one of those champions that is very difficult to put. I always feel like Olaf toes the line between either ridiculously underwhelming or ridiculously overpowered, and it never seems to be a middle ground. Because when you have a champion that relies on true damage burst and has an ultimate that ignores all CC, like it's so difficult to balance that correctly, I think, in terms of the meta. But Olaf is super strong still. Like you can still play him effectively. They give the Kai'Sa over. As Trouble was mentioning, she thought a Kai'Sa first pick was on the cards. They probably had the choice between the Darrell and the Kai'Sa. Now they get both, right? Now they've got both of those picks for the bot lane.
The thing is that BTXL actually got a really good front line though to play with, and we usually know that BTXL is a front to back sort of composition liking team. They'll get the Azir on hat tricks and whatnot, so they will have the front to back no matter what. The Jinns are in there as well. They can play from distance. This could be, because this is after the nerfs, a stride breaker Olaf, which we have seen pop up a little bit. And it's much easier to stick on your target now with the stride breaker and of course the ultimate, because it makes it much easier to close the gap. There's the Jhin as well.
I was so surprised by that Gnar pick because I was like, there's a lot of champions up that can punish blind pick Gnar, but BTXL apparently value their AD carry pick much more going into the second ban phase. But at the same time, I can imagine that Barrage wants to ban a lot of top laners now, so Arome can't get the full enjoyment of trying to punish this blind pick now. And on the other hand, we see that Debu, still not having picked his champion, is getting target banned by BTXL.
Yeah, and I think that was the choice that XL had to make. If they picked top, they were having ADs banned against them. If they were picking AD, they were getting tops banned against them. So they essentially were going into that trade where they were like Arome. But that's interesting because we talked about the strength of Arome. We talked about the strength of the top lane for XL. And maybe it's just that they find that whatever the situation, they're happy with Arome getting a pick regardless of the second round of bans. I wonder if Camille is going to be banned. I will have to see.
With the Olaf here, not necessarily having any hard to see. If you want a strong side top lane, you need to get something that has setup like the Camille, like the Renekton, and something that has a very easy way of you getting into a fight, unless they want to put Orome onto a tank, in which case, there you go. In which case, Na does great anyway. They knew they had to prioritize Deadly's Gene because we talked about the front to back fight. They're not going to ban Hatrix's Azir. This is most likely what he's going to choose to go with, and he's going to create the separator here for his team. BTXL are very predictable with the drafts. The front to back is always their go-to, but they play this so well that they manage to create the space. And here's also the tank and the engage we're talking about. So you don't resort into a Renekton Camille that's easy setup. You have to go on the other side. You are lacking a lot of damage though, so I would like to see Hatrix potentially pivot onto something like a Syndra.
I think champions like a Seer that's up as well would be great for backline utilization, and a champion that has had so much priority going over the 2 weeks or LEC weeks we've been seeing, and then we go random having to play a Seer now, and it's just like he's really hard to contest in lane. He's really hard to contest when you got in team fights because he creates so much space between you and the other carries. So when you got champions like Olaf that wants to run into you, Azir loves that, but it's going to come down to now with a Rome, with a Malphite that's going to have these flash engages to come in. He can try to separate that ground by having the CC to knock up champions in the backline.
It's really interesting though that XL have chosen to go for a last pick for Hatrix. It's not something that we generally tend to see for XL. We don't often see Hatrix going for counter picks. And it's also really interesting that they would choose to then let the Azir drop over to Barrage, given the strength of that pick right now. It's a very interesting draft. The Corki does come through here for
It's happening.
It's a
is it happening?
disaster.
It's just like we're just going back to Corki as the meta. It's the classic. Like you got decent AD carries you can play for. You got top laners who are the weak side, and then you got two mid laners who essentially doesn't want to do much in the early game. They just both want to scale up. So that's just kind of the handshake of that meta. That's why it became meta, because it's like, oh, I don't want to fight you and you don't want to fight me. Let's just scale up and let's have a team fight later and see how it goes. And that's why people hate this matchup, because it's so stale in the early game. But there are tools where you can make it work. Makoon on the Olaf and obviously Debo on the Graves is something to have a look at in the early game.
Also, pay attention as BTXL don't necessarily have an easy way to set up for their lanes unless it's bot lane, and Rel is not really a champion that you can kill very easily, and Kai'Sa you cannot pin down very well. I think they're going to be playing towards that now, getting him really strong in the early game. You can punish Malphite, especially pre-6, when he doesn't have the ultimate to lock you underneath his tower when you're trying to tower dive him. And remember, last time BTXL lost, it was a Rome repeatedly being punished up in the top lane, and I think Barrage have the draft to do this right now.
We'll see. It's definitely, I think, a strong draft from Barrage. I agree with you, Trouble. I think this is, they're drafted well to potentially take XL on. Let's hand it over, though, because we are about to head into a game, and I've got a fun fact for you. If you combine these two casters' names, it comes out as Jan Myatt.
Using my own line against me. How's it going, guys? It's Jan Myatt here, and we're getting ready to go into our first of our two best of threes today between Barrage and XL. Foxy, how you doing? You all right?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to it. Playoff League of Legends is always something extra, something exciting, and yeah, I can't wait to get started. I'm giddy.
I'm giddy. I'm a little sad for, actually, we've got pretty standard comps here. There's no real spice being thrown out in this first game. The Corki Azir is something we've just seen rise up massively in the last few weeks as we've got closer and closer. But we are on a new patch. We're on 11.4, I believe. I probably should have checked that. But we are on 11.4 going into today. So things have changed a little bit. The jungle's had a bit of attention. And as a jungle main, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about what this means for the likes of Markoon, who was highlighted as the superstar player for XL.
Yeah, so all in all, the changes to jungle can be summarized with slightly less power in experience and in gold. And it kind of averages out to about 10 to 15% less. So, whereas people are sort of forecasting the fall of the farming junglers, it hasn't really changed the meta too much. Honestly, farming junglers are still going to be a thing, as you can see in this game one here between Barrage and BTXL. Olaf and Graves, both very, very good at farming the jungle. And it's really only going to affect like a minor amount, which you can easily make up as a jungler by just like going to the lane and taking. Oh, my sweet lord.
Dibu, no, not like this.
Wait,
He has to flash
what?
the wall.
How did he survive
Well, actually,
that?
by the Deadly Florist hat tricks flashed forwards there. We're still in for some action. One more undertow is going to connect, and yeah,
That's
gets
awful.
out alive.
Okay. So I don't know how he survives that. I'll be honest with you. I think honestly he should just get insta flash polved and he should just be in the dirt straight away. He's quite fortunate he walked away with that one. And to be honest, Debu comes out on top. Like right here, bam, just flash polv him. What is that?
Oh,
He doesn't even polv. What does he do? I don't know what that was about.
I assumed he did something wrong when our observer was zooming in on him. Now I realised Avian just didn't do anything. He just flashed out the bush and said hello.
Well, that's actually 3 summoners down for BTXL and only 1 from the side of Barrage. Legit. That's I think that's well played, Debu, mate. That was a great bait. Absolutely part of Barrage's level 1 plan.
Yeah, Debu forcing those summoner spells. Like you said, it should be alright. It is Graves. Sometimes we for a while used to see Graves not run flash at all, and they just go for the ignite. So this champion can function without it, thanks to his dash. So it should be okay. Shouldn't really affect him too badly. And now XL just be a little bit more careful. Obviously, level 1 here from this bot lane onto Deadly and Avian can hurt. So kind of that's why they're playing a little bit further back here.
Speaking of this bot lane here, Kevo on the Kai'Sa, you know, Trouble called it in Champ Select how she wanted to see that Kai'Sa being locked in. And statistically speaking, you know, Kevo's Kai'Sa is extreme comfort. He's played 5 different champions. 4 of them he's only played once. And then he has Kai'Sa, which he's played 8 times. So, you know what? I think this is his comfort pick. And going into playoffs, why not? And here goes Thefe.
Yeah, but he's going to get hurt. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's just a comedy of errors. Tragedy. Absolute tragedy strikes Barrage in the bot lane.
Yo, if anyone's arguing that supports are the worst players in the world, then this game. I'm just kidding. But that was a
Rich
bit,
coming from a jungler.
That was a bit unfortunate there from Zefe. Yeah, I'm not. Oof. We'll take a look at the flash here because I mean it is Barrage going for this engage, gets the burger flip onto Deadly, which is actually pretty good by itself. But Avian just walking forward, obviously didn't even need to use his own flash to catch Zefe out of position because he didn't have it. And I'm just. Yeah, I guess he just bad-fingered it or something. Maybe he wanted to click ignite there because he didn't. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know, but unfortunate that's first blood for BTXL.
Yeah, it was a good punish from XL. It was a pretty poor misplay by Sefe, but we'll forgive him. It is obviously though the problem this is now going to cause is you can see Deadly accelerated himself a CS deficit or CS lead over Kevo. Kevo will be able to neutralize most of that with this wave, but will still be down thanks to that first blood anyway. And looks like they might look to freeze the lane here. So Deadly and Avin are going to have to stop their recalls so they can make sure that this does crash. And not really what they wanted, though. Marcoon is in the area to help if they need it.
Both junglers are here because if you are Dibu, this is a great time to try and punish BTXL. And if you're Marcoon, you know that this is a great time for Dibu to punish BTXL. So you're just hovering around there just in case that turned into a gank, which it did not. So no harm, no foul right there. Oh my goodness, what's happening up here in the top lane?
Missed a bit of action, I believe. Momo's very low. Arome walking away. The teleport was forced out by Random. Hatrix is going to use this opportunity to teleport back into mid and get some priority in the area. 15 seconds until that dragon spawns up. See whether or not either of these teams decide to prioritize that. The resets are coming in for Barrage's bot lane now, though, while Deadly's already been to base and most of the way back towards it thanks to those boosts of swiftness. So for the moment, XL do have priority in the area, so they could look for it. But with the fact Marcoon moving his way up through towards the top side, wants to clear upwards now. Got that second spawn Krug camp. Looks like it is just going to be a bit more of a farm fest before we see any dragons.
Yeah, Dibu most likely is going to go for his reset here as well. So no active plays on the map right now from the junglers. And that boost of Swifties, I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, Jhin, when he rushes that first, it's a pretty Jhin thing to do. And also, I should say, like we were talking about in champ selects, you know, the Azir Corki meta, people don't want to do anything early game. Well, I tell you, Jhin doesn't buy Swifties to play aggressive. So we might be seeing a little bit more of that theme continuing here, and really just comes down to, you know, slight kills here and there, lane prio, that kind of thing. As BTXL are starting up the dragon, but you know, Dibu's on the way. But I think BTXL honestly should be able to just take this one down.
I don't think it's even worth contesting.
Nah.
You're not set up for it. I think if you're Barrage, you just give this over. It's only an early cloud.
Absolutely, I think that's 100% the right call. You know, you're not in great positions for your lanes. You don't have the lane pro, and Dibu was in spawn. He's gone for that reset, so I'm not going to bother with that one. Although Olaf here might be, no, he's just gonna take that ward and walk away. Kevo takes a bit of a poor trade here. Deadly really putting down the pain on that Jhin.
Rome, nod back, walloped and slammed down. He's going to take
Level
some
5.
serious damage from Mumus there.
Okay, Mumus. That's a good harass there from Mumus onto the Malphite. Crucially though, there are no teleports here in this top lane. This makes this top lane now like really, really important. It's going to draw attention, and you can see Hatrix is already thinking about it. He's already positioning in the top side of the jungle here.
Oh,
Actually, we're going to see an engage.
yeah, mid lane's just going to get engaged on the Ignite. Has been used the Attract Repel to get the stun off. They do get a bunch of damage into the return for Avian. Sefe also eats the 4th shot from Deadly, and the curtain has been called actually. Looking for those Barrage members, but not going to be able to find anyone. Just uses it to clear the wave out, and now it's Dibu making his way over. He just gets pulled away, and now Marcoon's made his way over. Got the undertow, got the slows. That's a massive collateral damage onto 2. A lot of health bars going low now, but it's Seth who's being chased down, slowed, and that 4th shot should do it. Deadly cashes in, and it's an equal trade, but now the Deadly Flourish. It's a less than equal trade. XL trade up.
Less of an equal trade, and big minion wave, including the cannon under the tower there for Kevo, plus another one coming in now that he's not going to have access to. Deadly now sitting at 2-0-1. Barrage wanting to punish the side of BTXL there. But again, as we saw earlier on, Marcoon is just hovering in the area. He knows, he can smell when Graves is looking for a play, and he's just there to stop it from happening. Speaking of stopping things from happening, reading the play, what's Avian doing here?
Well, Rome does have 6. Nas bar's about to come out, and Rome just going to get walloped back, slammed in. His health bar painfully low as Mumus jumps in, but he gets the knock up underneath the tower. Now Advian gets himself the knock up. Supports are here, and it is Mumus who has to jump away, but Arome hot on the chase with that seismic shard. Marcoon's made his way over as well. It's a 3 versus 2. Mumus flashed onto as Dibu is going to start up, but now they get the pole. Advian gets the kill, and Seth getting chased down. Marcoon secures the Rift Herald as Hatrix drop the package. That was just a lot of action going on all at once.
Honestly, though, Mumus made just a little bit too greedy right there. He had full information that Adrian was on the top side. Adrian was clearing the ward. He knew Adrian was there. He just thought he could get a little bit cheeky on a Rome and maybe do something to bring him down. But instead, it's his greed that brings himself down. And that's another kill over to BTXL. And we're going to see this bot fight that happened a few minutes ago. Level 6 here for Dibu on that Graves, and Adrian proving that you can in fact flash Q a Graves, bringing him down. But just honestly, when you've got someone like the Olaf, you're so good at chasing people down. You're just launching those undertows, constantly slowing people down, and it makes for a really easy chase. And then this is the top lane play right here. Adrian, he's killing a ward. Mumus knows this is happening, man. He knows this is here. He just gets a little bit too greedy for a Rome, and it doesn't quite work out for him.
Yeah, pays the price. He's lucky that he didn't take an extra tower shot there, to be honest. But this is, you know, this game, bar obviously what we're watching right now, but as Marcoon joins, this is what we see from Marcoon. He's so active on the map, and Deadly as well, being able to kind of get rewarded for this. And Deadly, you know, always that late game insurance for XL ever since he's joined this team. 2-0-1, 86 CS in his pocket. Obviously, Kevo's matching him in the farm department, but he is down 1,100 gold right now to Deadly. Now, Advian level 6 might be looking for something. Seth is 2 levels lower. Kevo's just going to get polved here. They've got all of the follow-up necessary. Kevo had to use the Killer Instinct backwards to get away. And Deadly might find this flourish. Can't quite connect it. Meaning Kevo's going to be okay. It's Mumus once again going to jump into Arome. This time, Arome actually doing pretty good. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Mumus is getting chased down, and Arome will just get the solo kill. Now, Dibu is in the area, and I lied, actually. Dibu does have the Rift Herald, so Arome, you might lose a fair few plates here if you find yourself killed. It's just juggling behind the minions and waiting for Dibu to run out of shots as he needs to reload. The collateral damage is getting used, and Arome did a pretty good job of clearing out the wave, almost killing Dibu. The Seismic Shard gives him enough movement speed, places the ward.
Oh, no.
Baits Dibu.
Does it... Is he just going to... Oh, God, I don't even know what to say.
Just
Is he just going to wait for the TP? Yeah, he's got that shield up now as well. He's actually going to survive. Oh, my
He's
goodness.
not going
Is
to
he
kill
going
him.
for it?
No.
Oh, my sweet lord.
Actually, that was so Chad of Arome. Just walked straight back out the Alco, went straight back to farming.
That was smart, man. He waited for his barrier to come back up, and so he had that shield. And to be honest, like, Arome, even on that health, is deceptively tanky, especially with that Balmy Cinder and the Bramble Vest there. He can survive a lot of punishment from Graves. Instead, this is going to be the Herald being put down mid. BTXL are going to collapse on this, and we might not even get a charge. Oh my goodness. No. That is just the worst. That is absolutely the worst. You just lost yourself like a good 2 plates right there. Oh, God, you hate to see it.
Let's have a look at this solo kill in the top lane, though. Arome just outplaying Mumus so hard.
Outplay. I mean, he's Malphite.
Press R.
Can you really use that phrase whenever someone's playing Malphite? I mean, Mumus has just been doing that like the whole game, and so I think he thought he could still do it, but little do you know, mate, Malphite reaching that Bramble Vest power spike, like there's just no counterplay. He just can't be doing that anymore, and able to just trade back in.
Me shouty man, kill's good, death's bad. That's all I know. If someone dies, it's an outplay.
That's a fair point, honestly. Obviously, a highly mechanical champion such as Malphite is definitely one of the outplays. Steph's going to get caught here.
Oh, the Ghost is on. Has to use the Ferromancy to try and jump away. And now it's going to be the flash over the wall. Random's going to eat a whole bunch of damage, actually, from Hatrix as Avian. Seeing if Dibu wants some fries with that chicken.
I've never heard that before. Pretty good.
I sometimes I just open my mouth and I don't know what's going to come out. Speaking of chicken, Random is actually able to shuffle away to safety. This time Arome does have that ultimate available. It's Mumus once again going for the combo, but remember we're on the power spike right now. Ooh. And Mumus is going to jump away to safety.
And Mumus, whenever he turns into Minar, doesn't quite have the power there for Romeo, but Kevo looks like he could be in a bit of a pickle here, but he smells it coming. Stepha's going to be here to cover as well, so no harm, no foul, most likely. And Deadly's pretty far away without his ult as well, which is important. He won't be able to join this fight here.
Yes, Hatrix, though, has to flash as Dibu flashes as well. They get the slow, they get the shield off onto Hatrix, and he is going to lose his life. Dibu gets the shutdown for collateral damage as Mumus slammed into Arome, gets a solo kill again.
You know what? It's just ridiculous, like, honestly. So here's the thing. Do you see those question mark pingers coming through on the minimap? That's from BTXL. His own team is pinging him right there. Like, what is going on up there? Honestly, Malphite into Gnar and you're solo killing the Gnar as Malphite. I mean, I've said it a few times. I think all of us have said it a few times here in the NLC that Arome is our best top laner. And he's just proving it once again. So we're going to take another look at that gank in the mid lane. Pretty simple, pretty easy stuff right there. And look at that. Hard rock, hard damage, hard kill. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
He caught him mid jump as well. Mumus was trying to jump away from that.
It's just, yeah, Malphite is... There's not much you can do versus a Malphite. If he wants to kill you, and he can kill you, he will kill you. Like, what do you do? You can flash the ult, but that was, from Fog of War, from the bush. Like, Mumus really just didn't stand much of a chance there.
You need the wild turtle reflexes on that one. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Almost the point blank Malphite ultimate out of the bush, and he flashed it.
That was from quite some time back. Well, that
was a long time ago. I remember someone comparing it. They did the maths and compared it to like 100-mile-an-hour tennis serve reaction speed. Genuinely how they did it. I think it might be like 70 or 80-mile-an-hour tennis serve. I don't know how fast the balls get thrown in tennis.
Yeah, I'm not much of a tennis connoisseur myself, I'll be honest. I reckon you could do 100 plus though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
you could have
probably.
Federer serve, maybe Nadal as well.
You're related to him, aren't you?
Am I?
Federer.
Why am I related to Federer?
You look like him.
How is that true in any way? Like honestly, there's a few things I've been called. The devil from Rick and Morty, D'Artagnan, Guy Fawkes, but never Roger Federer. I'll take it though. He's a rather
I'd take
handsome
Roger
fella.
Federer. He's a handsome
Yeah, I'd
man.
take that for sure. Like I'd definitely take that, but I'm not quite sure. You might just be talking out your rear end a bit there, Jakey boy. That's what you do best, to be fair.
It's all I do. Let's be real. That's why they call me Buttface Jake. Avian just clearing out the vision. Dragon spawning up in 20 seconds, and Barrage actually just going to give this one up, I think. Not interested in contesting that remotely.
That's going to be the third dragon going down for BTXL though, which puts them on soul point, and it is an infernal soul, which is very big, very important. Barrage already 3,000 gold down, already losing control of this game. If you give up that infernal soul, oof, that's going to be very hard for you to navigate these team fights as the games go on. You know, Barrage is looking to play that scaling game, but to be honest, so are both teams, and you're never really going to be able to get to a point where you can fight the team fights, where you can scale into success if you're also playing versus powered up BTXL with that soul. So this third dragon here, very important, and is going to set up a lot of stuff in 5 minutes. I think we can all predict right here that Barrage is going to have to do something more aggressive than they've been doing so far when that fourth dragon comes up.
This is a very early mount Infernal Soul as well. And
Oh yeah.
I genuinely think if XL gets Soul on the next dragon, I think the game's done. I actually think that's critical mass for Barrage.
I would agree with you. To
so
be quite
rough.
honest. I think the side of like BTXL uses it pretty well. Even just Corki by itself, like anytime once Corki gets like 2-3 items plus an Infernal Soul, like oh my goodness, that is just so much damage. And who on the side of Barrage can take that damage? No one.
You see how much damage that rocket just did to Dibu? I don't think that was a big one either. I think that was just a standard rocket. No, it was a big one. Yeah, it was a big one. Okay.
So this is it as well, right? So Corki just does so much damage. It's Marcoon here. Ooh, he's going for a cheeky solo kill. Is he going to find
Ghost
Kevo?
is on. Kevo, you're going to have to outplay this real hard. Jumps back with the ulti. There's the heal.
Is he gonna
Has
flash?
still got that flash as he short flashes, and actually that just gives Marcoon the kill.
Oh,
Atrix now getting pulled in by the Magnet Storm, gets blinded, goes for the Valkyrie back, Random's jumping over, shield bow's been popped, and now the curtain has been called. Random takes one shot, takes two shots, Deadly finds the kill, Seth goes chunked, all of the shots connect, and here comes Advian, looking to see if he can find himself the kill, but can't.
We have two different fights right there, one in the bot side and one in the bot side jungle. Marcoon just deciding he wants to kill Kevo, and there's not much you can do about it. Unfortunately for Kevo, though, that is his ultimate, his flash, and his heal, and he still dies. That just feels terrible, honestly. Like, there is nothing worse than that right there. And Marcoon only having to blow his ghost, which is on a shorter cooldown anyway, but Mumus now, you're going to be in trouble. There's a TP coming for you.
Waiting out the Gnar, but has to use a stride breaker to put some distance, and Hatrix just Valkyries into his face. That is a filthy amount of damage coming out from Hatrix, and he hasn't even finished his second item yet.
That is a lot of damage, and one of the unique things about Corki, and extremely unique thing about Corki is that his damage is split between physical and magic. But here we go, and get another fight here as Rome.
Kevo has no R, Gale Force, Kevo's down, Deadly's got the fourth shot, Seth eats it, and Advian delivers forwards to make sure that Seth will lose his life. Rome secures the kill. XL are making this first game look so easy, and Barrage, they just can't do anything here.
There's a reason why XL went 9-1 in the regular season. They are one of the best teams we have here in the NLC. And honestly, I've been quite impressed with the way that BTXL have played this game, because I think we've had some good performances come out from the entire team. Hatrix has been focused a little bit, and he has, not got the most flattering scoreline here, but even with the way they drafted, they played more towards like not having a Rome be the big boy, but you just can't stop it. You just can't stop it from happening. Rome has one of the highest damage shares of top laners in the entire NLC. Has the highest damage share of any character, any player on this BTXL roster. They stick him on Malphite, and he still pops off. He still makes it happen. He's still solo killing people. And it's really just a testament to the strength of this team. Like, you have so many carry threats on BTXL. Like, it's just so hard to play against them.
Oh my lord. Those rockets are so potent from hat tricks.
They hurt. See, this is interesting as well here to talk about hat tricks, is he's gone for the Sheen. Now, we saw this in the relegation game, I believe, last week, where, what's his face? There was a Hecarim who built a Sheen, but he already had a different mythic. Now, Sheens only build into mythic items with the exception of this
Essence Reaver.
Is Essence Reaver a Sheen item?
Yep, Essence Reaver's a Sheen, buddy.
Holy Sheen. I didn't know that. That's...
Yeah, so I assume it's going to be a... I assume it's just going to be an Essence Reaver for him, because Corky, you know, stacking that crit anyway.
What the... I mean, I knew that, obviously. But, blimey. Yeah, well, that's perfect then. That's perfect. Speaking of perfect, not this.
I think that's actually less than perfect for Barrage, but it might be perfect for XL. The blind lands onto Deadly, and that actually slows him down a little bit, but Rome, ultimate available, and the curtain has been called. Mumma slams back one as the fourth shot may just clip him, and it does. Deadly secures the kill. XL find one, and they get the root off onto Dibu. Dibu now being hunted by a mountain and a cow. The Infernal Soul is up, and I think this is that critical mass we were talking about.
Yep, and I'm not sure there's much that Barrage can do about this one. That's just going to go down into the favor of BTXL. Infernal Soul at 22 minutes. Oh my goodness. That is just painful stuff right there. And if Barrage had any chance of getting back into this game, those chances are looking even more slim. I mean, just look at that goal difference, man. Like, it started off relatively equal, but once BTXL just had the advantage, they just really haven't let up, and it's been a consistent increase right there, consistent pressure. And this is one of those things that separates BTXL as one of the better teams here, is just their ability to not let teams get back into games once they have that advantage.
It's, people talk about slapping with a wallet, but it just feels like a Rome is the entire vault here. As Hat-Trick secures the kill, and honestly, it's just pick after pick. There's no even time to play-by-play these fights. They just die.
Yeah, and this it all comes down to like really good setup as well from BTXL, because they just have complete control of vision in all the areas they want. Like, the whole map is dark for Barrage. They have to face check. They're gonna go for this steal here though. Dibu gonna have to go for the heroic play.
I guess this is do or die. Rome throws the ulti out. Dibu's been caught, and the curtain has been called. Only gonna find on to Kevo. One shot as Mumma dodges out on that fourth one, but Kevo loses his life. No time to react. The Infernal Soul doing too much, and Marcoons pop the ghost. Random is going to be going to the grey screen momentarily. XL cash in on a quick 2 kills, and it's back to Baron.
It does delay the Baron for a little bit here, but I really don't think you've got anything left in the tank to delay the Baron. This second time here, BTXL are going to secure this one as Barrage try and pick out the only member on the side of BTXL who you really physically cannot pick out. And Rome just going to walk out of that one, not even breaking a sweat right there. And yep, that's going to be Baron over BTXL. They're not even going to lose the mid tower. Barrage, oh my goodness, it just feels bad, man. Just feels bad.
Yeah. I'd love to add some high level analysis to this right now, but I feel like at this point it is just XL got ahead early. Arome got bullied a little bit by Momus and then just solo killed him, and then the lane was doomed from there. Bot lane, hardcore smashing, and Hat-Tricks was at 1.02 was definitely the weakest point on the team, but like that 0-2 just didn't really matter too much because everywhere else had just gone so wrong. And XL, they are subscribers to the Gulborg Fury. This is definitely a win lane, win game kind of game so far.
Oh, I thought we were going to have to get some toilet paper off in here. The thing is about Hat-Tricks having, like, not having the best start, it doesn't matter. He's Corky, you know? You pick Corky to scale, and he is scaling very, very hard. So it doesn't even matter, you know? Like, he's not your early game facilitator. He's not your driver. It doesn't matter at all. And, you know, BTXL now with this Baron working 2 lanes. at the same time right here. And I'm not really sure how Barrage defends against this. I think this is honestly just a little bit too much because the dive from BTXL is so strong with Malphite Alistair, following that up with Olaf Rambo, I should say. And, you know, like the Jhin ulti as well. Like, what do you even do? Like, nowhere is safe right here for Barrage.
I hate to call a game done, but I think for Barrage, it is just a matter of turning your attention towards the second game of this series. I think that is where we are right now. As Kevo going to attempt something actually onto Deadly, but in another world, that could have been big, but it wasn't going to be enough. As Seth trying to jump away, has to flash away from the curtain call. Nobody's in range for that fourth shot. Okay, Random walks back in and gets hit. Seth pulls out the Magnet Storm. Advian comes in with a headbutt pole, and Dibu is going to be cooked out here by Marcoon. He gets himself the double kill. And with only 2 members of Barrage remaining, Random is there. He is one of the wave clear tools open to them, but a lot of Baron minions, and this is here not really strong enough as Advian looking to jump onto Random. Random able to dodge away from this one. We are 26 minutes into the clock with 18 kills on the board for XL. Mumus goes for a hero slam back, but can't make it connect. They do pad the KDAs a little bit by taking out Advian. But ultimately, XL will take game number 1 of this series.
And that was an exceptionally convincing game there from BTXL. Honestly, you know, I predicted a 2-0 from these guys, and this is the kind of performance that I thought we would see out of them. BTXL as a team do have the lowest game time out of the entire NLC. The only team that's sub 30 minutes, and a 26-minute win right there is going to pad those stats even more. Honestly, there's just not much to say apart from, you know, from Barrage's perspective, just go next. That was just a bad game, just go next.
It's a best of 3, so, you know, there is still potentially more time for more games if Barrage can, you know, pull their socks up going into game number 2. But for now, I think it's time we chill out. I can see that you need a wee. You got 4 minutes. We'll see you in a second.
Ooh, he can't wait for summer. Step inside the sun on the
Well, it was probably the expected result. I did expect Barrage to put up a bit more of a fight in the first game, but of course, this is a series. There is adaptations that can be made. But XL really did just come out swinging, and they kind of stomped that first game.
First of all, I want to say that I said that Kevo and Sefe were probably the bot lane here, and then Deadly and Advian were like,
They
we
took
heard
that
you talk.
personally.
We heard you talk. Because they
Oh,
absolutely smashed that bot lane. They smashed bot lane. Orome smashed top lane versus a losing matchup. In a losing matchup, sorry. Makun again doing Makun things. It was just very textbook. We said that it was going to be extremely obvious what they were trying to build with their whole composition. It was obvious. They knew how they wanted to work, and it felt like Barrage just played in their hands. They were like, sure, take control of the game. Take it, Macro Kings. We'll be fine. And it was the very, very sad slow choke.
I mean, to me, this game was so weird in the beginning. We had the kind of summoner spell war going on in the early game where they tried
God,
to
I
get
forgot about that.
Debu and an invade, and 3 summoner spells were blown for the price of 1, and nobody died. So the early game looked rather good for Barrage, and then the bot lane, Seth getting pulled in by the pulverized and then failing to flash over. That was so unlucky. Like, it just felt like this game, the teams had a bit of an oopsie start. So I think like it's back to the drawing board for Barrage and be like, you know what? We did initially like our comp. Let's just mental reset for this one because we didn't really play it out as it was supposed to be. I don't think that anything was particularly wrong with the draft. I think there is something wrong with how they played around the map. And maybe it's a bit of stages. Maybe they're just nervous in the playoffs. But luckily for them, they have another game to bounce back.
Well, before we go into sort of breaking down some of the plays that we selected, what was it just an error in the laning phase? Was this just like in classic Gulbug fashion, win lane, win game? Or was it...
Let's leave that in the regular season.
Leave it in the regular season. Got it.
Okay, I felt like every single lane outplayed. They were being not very careful. For example, every time Mamus would push in the top lane, he knew his support was coming to assist him. Obviously, you need to keep in mind that Orome is going to have his support assisting because Advin is a very Roman-heavy support. He did not respect that because he thought his support was behind him, but the other support was slightly faster there. You need to understand and respect these things. If your support is Roman, most likely there's going to be a support Roman on the other side as well. Mid lane, I feel like, was the only lane that didn't matter too much. Like, there wasn't much going on because they didn't need to. These were like the scaling sort of components of the game that would enter the game very much later, like 40 minutes in. And then bot lane, Kevo and Sefe, I just didn't. If the nameplates were off, I wouldn't recognize it was them. Kevo was literally walking into every single W for the Jhin. It just wasn't a good game. I think it's like FF15, go next. We need a mental reset. We can do this.
I think I'm kind of in that camp. Now, obviously, we have one play that you wanted to kind of look at here, Gulborg. Let's take a look at the play that you wanted to break down. There weren't many, but you have chosen one. So let's take a look.
Yeah, I do. And honestly, it's a bit of a long one, so settle in for the ride. Infernal Soul already delivered. You can see all the vision control for BTXL is the side of them. And just quickly, the vision was hovered there. Seth has to go in and face check this if they want to contest it. But the problem for Barrage in this case scenario is they're not on the same page and they're not willing to fight. Either in this scenario, you just go in and throw all your bodies at them and say, all right, we know we're getting outscaled. They have Infernal Soul. They have the Baron potentially. We have to go in. And they realize this now while one member is dead. And luckily for them, TP is still up. But you can see all the way through, BTXL is still in control. And they're still so split up on the side of Barrage. And when these picks happen, like, it's not necessarily picture perfect from the side of BTXL. Rome really far forward. You can see Kevo and Random doing a good job of escaping. But there's just nothing you can do. You're too far behind. You didn't pull the trigger early enough. And that just meant that at this point in time, nothing you can do. And that was just kind of the story of this game. Barrage wasn't fighting. They couldn't play for their early game skirmishes. Like top lane failed, as Trouble said. Mid lane was just Corky-Seer. And the bot lane, the win conditions you had there also failed. So it's like, all right, mental reset, back. Just go next. Honestly, go next. That was just what it was. We're one game down. Let's just take it. Mental reset. No games have happened so far. It's 0-0. Let's get to it.
Honestly, yeah, I do agree the execution was lacking right there because at the very, very beginning of that clip, Nara's bot lane. He's Minina. He's not going to TP into a fight. You see the Jhin mid lane. You see another member behind him. They're clearly not doing Baron. So I don't understand what Sefa is doing really deep into Fog of War away from any of his teammates. So there must have definitely been miscommunication errors right there, which are thankfully extremely easy to fix.
If they were going to make adjustments, you probably talk after the game. You say, look, this is what went wrong here. And sometimes games are lost off a single decision.
Yeah.
Sometimes like one decision, really snowballs the game and you can't really get back into it. So I'm expecting some adjustments to take place, but XL definitely looking strong in this series thus far. Going to go to a quick break. When we're back, we'll be starting up Champions Select for our second game of the night.
Waking up, the sun is rising. We can go anywhere, do anything. Put your hand in my hand, let's explore. Travel places no one's been before. Leave your fears and hear you calling. Wherever you go, wherever you are, beauty's unique. Melody so sweet, our differences make our union so great. Together we perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. Together we will be perfect harmony. Let's get lost in a forest of green. Lose ourselves in the blue of the sea. Paint the world any color we choose, or a rainbow with all of the hues. Make the world the way that we dream. Wherever you go, wherever you are, beauty's unique. Melody so sweet, our differences make our union so great. Together we perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. Together we will be perfect harmony. Together we'll be. Together we'll be perfect harmony.
If you wanna find love, then you gotta have faith. The world is on your side. The world is on your side. If you wanna find love, then you got to have faith. The world will be your guide. The world will be your guide. No, I don't care. No one can tear you down. We'll lift you up. It's about here and now. Yeah, you're gonna find love. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright. Yeah, you're gonna be alright.
second game of the series coming up. And XL obviously are in a strong position now. I believe Barrage have chosen red side for game 2. So we will see the sides switched over between XL and Barrage in this second game of the series. I don't know how much red side played into XL's draft, though. Like, usually, usually you have some kind of red side strategy for R5 pick, but it was just Corky is here. Like, that could have happened in a blind situation anyway through the matchup, realistically.
I mean, Barrage got everything they wanted. They took the Rel, which is extremely strong, took it off of Hadvian's hands, which is extremely strong on him. They took S tier ADC Kai'Sa. They took first pick off of everything. They managed to grab a Z, they counter pick with Na, and then they ban everything they want. I feel like their blue side draft was spot on. The execution was the problem. Now here they've got the chance to have also the counter pick and think about how they want to execute the game.
I think it's interesting with the draft we're seeing here. Some of the bans are reversed, and this time it's BTXL to ban out the Thresh, where I think that it means they're potentially looking for that first pick Rel or first pick Kai'Sa that you also talked about in the other draft trouble. And on the side of Barrage, they're still going with some of the same bans here. Now they adapt and say, all right, we will not let you have this first pick Rel, and opt to ban it out as well.
Yeah, and of course, we're waiting for the final bans in this phase. I'm wondering if the Kai'Sa gets thought of here. I'm wondering whether we see the Udyr ban. I think for Barrage, especially, Udyr probably has to be their final red side ban, just because we know that Marcoon has that flexibility to play both these kind of pathing kingdom junglers, which, funnily enough, didn't change that much with all the jungle changes that came through. And yes, Udyr is the final ban going through on Ra's side.
Typical junglers just crying out before the patch even happened, and you're just like, man, it's gonna nerf jungle. What's that? First pick Nidalee on this patch? All right, keep talking.
Well, the thing is that we've been like hyping up Marcoon, right? And we're like, he's a difference maker, he's so good, 14 KDA, 0.9 deaths per game. This guy doesn't even die in a game. And then he wasn't even diffing the Jiffy the last game. So I don't think it matters much.
It was just team diffy.
I don't think it matters much what you give him. But right here, you're going to have to be extremely careful because he's got his Nidalee and he has some insane pathing with the Nidalee. He can do whatever he wants. And Orome has a bunch of bruises and none of them is banned that they can pair together for the top lane. So I wouldn't even be surprised to see something like a red necked and blind pick here.
This is so surprising from the side of Barrage, just this Jhin pick coming in. I think Kevo, as Foxtrot mentioned during the cast, had played out of all the games, 8 of those games was on Kai'Sa, and I think only 1 or 2 was on Jhin. So it's really interesting to see that Barrage are actually just taking away the first, kind of the first draft we saw out from BTXL. Like, they had Jhin, they had the Olaf, and obviously they also had the Alistar, which is also a champion that's available. So it's interesting to see the adaptations from both teams here. BTXL going for something completely different now with the Nidalee and Lucian, and Barrage are still on the same kind of page of the former team comps.
Yeah, the Lucian coming through is very interesting. I guess that, I would imagine Hat-Trick's likely taking Lucian. I don't know how much Lucian we're seeing in the bot lane these days, but I guess it gives you that extra mobility against the Olaf, makes it a little bit harder to run down some of the carries when you have carries like that. On the map, the Alistar is still a strong support, going to get locked in for Advian.
I love this so much from BTXL because now Barrage are literally sitting on a double-edged knife. Do we ban ADCs? And then Deadly can very easily move the Lucian down the bot lane. It's not that bad versus the Jhin. And then we give them mid. Or do we have to ban bruises for Roma up the top lane, which they did before, and they still got smacked by a Malphite? So I just really want to see what adaptation they're going to do here because I feel like BTXL's draft so far is absolute gold.
I think there's a lot of ways you can still optimize this draft. Like, you see already there's a lot of hard engage from the side of Barrage with the Leona pick coming in. You can opt for the Sai as well, just because, that pass well into disengaging composition. Alistar can play engage, but you can also play disengage. But Leona, very one-dimensional, almost have to go in. And there we go. I think it's the most clear-cut ban you can get from the beginning, and it's going to be the Sire. On the other side, we kind of need to start seeing the solo laners being banned out. And right now for Barrage, they don't really have much AP. So I think mid lane is also going to be a talking point. They'll have to pick a mage if they're not going with an AP top laner, and that's going to be fine for Lucian, which we have seen multiple times at level 6, just solo kill mages as well. And Syndra goes off the table.
Yeah, honestly, I would also really like to see Azir banned from the side of BTXL. I know it's a Patrick's favorite at this point, but I would much rather see them banning it out because playing Lucian into Azir, playing another possibly short range AD like an Aphelios or a Kai'Sa into an Azir is going to be a massive problem.
Well, we'll wait for the final ban. It looks like mid lane being targeted ever so slightly here. I wonder if Azir gets banned. Obviously, it's a relatively safe blind pick in almost any scenario. That obviously XL might not be bothered though, because they could just pick Corki, again, and they could flex that Lucian bot if they really wanted to. As you said, they have that flexibility of the Lucian pick. Although, again, Lucian not seen a huge amount in the bot lane. We'll see what XL go for. It is the Azir. So that would suggest to me that potentially Hat-Tricks will be playing the Lucian in the mid.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think it's interesting because there's a lot of new champions on this patch as well. We've started to see kind of flourish. Kaden was banned the last game, is open up, long range, pairs up well with traps around the Alistar as well. We got the Jinx, who also had some buffs coming in, although she's a bit immobile, so I don't think she's going to be the key pick you're looking for here. If you are Barrage, I think you're looking for a top laner right now, or sorry, mid laner, because you already know the Lucian is locked in. So it is just going to be the Victor as a kind of control mage wave clear bot for your team, and then you get the counter pick for the top side, which I think is very needed when we saw how the matchup went in the top side last game.
So nameplates off, a very BTXL Q-rated composition coming in from the side of Barrage. They're playing their front to back, they've got their tanks, they've got their engaged, their disengaged, their distance from the front line. Now, what that suggests to me is that Advian is going to be everywhere on the map. And that's because even though the Nidalee Lucian lane is extremely strong because AD and AP mixed together is really hard to itemize against. You don't have setup, but you don't necessarily need it because having an Ezreal in the lane of Leona Jhin, it's very easy because you're very slippery. You can get the cleanse. They're not going to catch you very easily. And we've seen that what Markun and Advian can do around the map when they bundle up together. And they also get the Nafa or Rome this time where he can dominate top lane because they know on the other side they do need that bruiser, and if they don't, they're going to go towards tank, and now is doing pretty well into tanks.
I was about to say I'm expecting the Camille lock-in from Mummus. It's a Mummus special. He's particularly good at this champion alongside Renekton. And so it is a pick that, does have a decent matchup into Mininar especially. So, it's something that I'm expecting Mummus to try and pull out here, especially to try and establish some top lane dominance. But look at the mobility of the carries in BTXL. A mobile mid laner, a mobile jungler, a very mobile AD carry, and you're up against an Olaf. That is a one way to counteract how ridiculously annoying Olaf is at taking out individual carries. So like a hyper-mobile composition from XL in its entirety to try and shut down, I guess, Debu's kind of mid-game strength here.
I think that was the reason that the Camille was picked as well, because the only way Olaf will be able to reach a target, the only way Leona will be able to guarantee to hit an ultimate is going to be when Camille actually jumps in and gets that sort of lockdown area, because there is a lot of mobility, and that is the problem. You're going to have 4 people running at you and a Jhin free firing from the back, but you also have so much kiting potential with this team, so much poke, so much disengage. I think BTXL got the upper hand here again. They show that they can play the predictable draft, but that draft is actually gold.
Yeah, I think it's a bit tougher to play, but at the same time, Barrage really wants to play topside with this composition. Camille is going to be your driving force, and she's going to outscale on side. You kind of want to wait for Victor to get online on items as well. And going against an Ezreal, he's going to be really hard to kill. So, as you said yourself, Trouble, Advian has a lot of ways to get out of the map just because it's so hard to punish an Ezreal. So, you always have to keep that in mind if you're Barrage now. Alistar, if he's not showing that bot side, you should expect him towards the top side.
Well, it was something that actually had an impact in the previous game as well. Advian's roams were rather impactful, especially top side of the map with a Rome. We'll have to see how a Barrage can fight back in this second game. We're going to hand it over to Foxrain.
I wonder how many names you're going to have by the end of today, Scoundrel. You already got through 2. Let's see how that keeps going. Now, we're getting ready to go into game number 2. I love what XL have put together here. I really do. I think what was highlighted by Trouble on the desk and its Scoundrel and everyone was they can just kite. They can just walk away and just poke you while walking away. It's going to be really hard for Barrage to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, I think the Leona pick especially, there's a lot of things that can just jump out of the solar flare. So that's it's going to be hard for her to find a target. And, BTXL, as you say, I think they've done a nice draft here, and it's nicely well-rounded and hard to punish for the side of Barrage. So, I'm curious to see how Barrage intend to play this one out, because as Gulborg says, this is a very top-side focused draft, playing through Mumus, which I quite like stylistically. I do think that if you play through Mumus, it gives you the best chance of winning, as far as like just the way that Barrage plays and their strengths. Going up against a Rome, that might be a little bit more tricky to do.
Alrighty, well, defensive line's coming up here. These neither of these teams wanting to go for any early game shenanigans after the last game. And it looks like just going to be the wards placed down, the resets, and the switch to sweepers for both of these junglers. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, very standard start there for the junglers. They're going to go for those red trinkets so they can stomp out vision as they're clearing the jungle. Sometimes, laners like to put a ward down on their chickens or something like that, and laners will be able to deny that vision, or if they want to go for a more aggressive play, then it helps for that as well. But both junglers are going to start the bot side with a leash here just to get that accelerated start and really power through the jungles with these very high farming style champions.
They're both starting on this bot side, so they'll be clearing upwards, which means Arome and Mumus could be the ones to receive a little bit of attention. Well, there is a Nidalee. Nidalee does like just try and power farm as much as possible. Olaf does have some setup here with the fact that it is the Camille, so you do have that hook shot to give a bit of CC, so you can then follow up with your slows from your axe. So it could actually, look to make some kind of plays break out here. As for now, Deadly's going to miss the Q, while Kevo's just free firing in, gets that fourth shot off.
Yeah, Stefa's going to have to be a bit careful there, going for an engage versus Alistair. We saw what happened last game when Stefa did that. He died for first blood, and it was a little bit ugly. Of course, that level 1 admin isn't going to be able to headbutt him under the tower and combo him, but still, just something to bear in mind here. I'm sure Stefa's got a little bit of those war scars from the last game still playing on his mind.
It did start with the pulverize at level 1 on Advin this time, so wants that knock up to deal with when the Zenith Blade comes down, as demonstrated a minute ago. Wave's getting shoved in here for XL, so they do have to play around that, as Hatrix actually flashes into Random's face. Random flashes away as well, so traded those summoner spells, but ultimately Hatrix probably going to be okay with that. And meanwhile, Mumus goes for the hookshot onto Rome. Markun's got the slows from the red smite, from the red buff, and Mumus going to flash away, but there everything is connected. That is going to be first blood gifted over. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Dibu getting chunked out heavily by Hatrix in a 2v1 trade. So XL just trading up everywhere.
That is so smart from Markun though, because he's playing Nidalee, and the expectation when you're on this champion is you just full clear. You start bot side, you get that leash, you just clear, and you use your champion's clear speeds to just gain an advantage that way. What he did was he cleared his bot side and then ran straight top lane to try and punish Mumus here, as you're going to see. Like, Mumus is not expecting this at all. Like, it's just in no realm does he think Nidalee is going to be there at that time. That's just perfect. It's just perfect for Markun there to catch him out of position. And he also got a cheeky red buff still after that play as well. So really, really nice adaptation from Trouble's #1 idol.
Looks like he's going to continue to make plays happen. That spear. Oh, Random felt the breeze from that spear. Very, very close, but is able to survive it.
There's a lot of pressure in this mid lane. More than I was expecting, really, seeing the Lucian Victor. So Lucian obviously plays quite aggressively, wants to dash forward and go for those trades. But Victor, as far as champions goes, is pretty good at kind of just nullifying that. Playing safe, hanging back. The fact that Hatrix went for that really aggressive play early, got the traded flashes, has been trading health bars as well. Like, I think it's just drawn a lot of jungle attention, because this is a lane now that you can punish because of the way that the players are playing. And, BTXL, especially with Markun, he's so good on this Nidalee, he's able to find these windows. And but here goes Advian.
Oh, hold on. Kevo got the 4th shot for the extra movement speed, is able to jump away.
There was a flash as well from Advian there. Straight out of Fog of War, out of the bush, into Kevo's face. And that is going to get Kevo's heal, but not his flash. Advian does have Hex Flash, so losing that flash isn't as punishing as it might be. You don't have that room. But still, all in all, that's not a bad trade there as far as summoners go for Barrage.
No, not at all. 5 minutes on the clock. XL are up at the moment. 1,200 gold. 1,100 gold. You can see the individual gold values on the players. 500 up for a Rome. Mid lane, 100 gold up. Bot lane, 100 gold up. Jungle, 300 gold up.
And the biggest kind of thing to take away from this gold total here is in topside, where it is like a 500 gold lead for a Rome. Now, Barrage drafted to play through Camille. That's kind of like the main thing they wanted to do in this early game. They wanted Camille to be like a power force in this game. They saved the last pick for Momus on this Camille. It's his signature champion. He is one of the better performing carry top laners in the NLC. But so far, he hasn't been able to have that impact in this game. And obviously, he got ganked. So quite opposite, really, of what Barrage was hoping for and what they were expecting. Where Momus now has to play from a disadvantage. And with this lane slowly pushing in here, Marcoon recognizes...
Here's the Gnar, here's the Gnar, into the wall, the wallop, the spear. It is just easy as that.
Wow.
What were you saying about Momus?
Yeah, it's like, that, I mean, we saw that coming, right? We saw it coming. That push was just putting him in a dangerous position. But that was so well played right there, honestly. That may seem like a small thing, but that was so well played. Here comes a Hex Splash onto Random.
Yeah, they are going to get a lot of CC off onto him. Here's the culling, going to get tanked up pretty heavily by Seth as the spear will hit and Marcoon slides in. Seth has a flash. Marcoon flashes over the wall, gets caught out by the Q, trying to find that last little bit of damage, but can't make it stick. And the dragon, in the meanwhile, was secured by Barrage.
Ooh, it's hairy stuff right there. That was a sliver of health for Seth in escaping from that mid lane play. We're going to get a replay here. I think it's okay. It's going to be the mid side. So Random is hovering bot side of mid lane here, which you might think is a bit silly because it puts him vulnerable against that Advian Hex Splash over the wall. But the reason he's doing that is because Zephyr is also in the bot side river. So it is technically his safe side of the map. So he thinks he's safe from that side, and Advian is able to find that little alleyway where he can sneak in. It doesn't quite pick up that kill, but still playing on the assumption there from Random that he was safe to actually catch him out of position.
I think Marcoon didn't want to go into that river, into that jungle a little bit further because he actually didn't know where Barrage were, so he didn't want to get caught out inside, even though he would have got that kill and been able to get out for free. I think it was good respect by Marcoon not to give his life for that play. Now Deadly, speaking of giving his life, might be caught out here. Has got the flash, has got the cleanse, and neither are going to be necessary. Sorry, the flash is necessary, the cleanse not necessary. Meanwhile, Rome is once again bullying Momus pretty hard as Momus will eat a tower shot. Rome flashes after him, can jump over that wall any minute now, but Marcoon not even going to be needed. It's a solo kill again for Rome. Are we up to... I think this is our 5th solo kill of the series now for Rome.
I think it's his 3rd because he's had ganks right from Marcoon. I'm pretty like his last 2 kills were ganks from Marcoon.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, like honestly, so just huge props to the top side of BTXL. Like they're just so good, genuinely.
Hat-tricks. I was a little bit too greedy. Had to flash away. They actually deliver Kevo in under the tower. Kevo has 4th shot. The tower shot's not going to be enough as Kevo pops the heal. Now trying to find himself a grand escape, but Marcoon jumps over. Hello, friend. And Marcoon secures the kill.
Not sure you're going to survive that one, Kevo, mate, but I respect the attempt. But here comes a Rome. Finally, Dibu. Finally,
he's got friends, though.
Side.
Rome's got 9. He's got friends. Can he find that slam back? Actually, no. Is on cooldown for the moment. 2 members very low, though, for the side of Barrage. And Rome gets the wallop. Marcoon gets the kill. The Hex Flash is here. It's a moo cow. And Dibu, you are going to feel the hurt right now, my friend. Advian secures the kill.
Yeah. Oh, man. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You don't show topside and Momus just gets ganked over and over again, gets solo killed. You do show topside and the whole squad of BTXL is there to punish you and just nullify the play. It's just looking really dire right here for the side of Barrage. They're over 4,000 gold down right now. 30 CS down in that top lane as well. We're going to get a cheeky replay here of that mid lane play. A good catch there from Zephyr onto Hat-tricks. That does get him quite low, and Advian in his attempt to reposition Kevo under the tower actually does get Hat-tricks killed, but also over ends well. 1 for 1, which will then be transitioned into that top lane play, as we're seeing here, where, you know, Mumus and Dibu just think they've got the play, but honestly, I think they should have also been aware of what was happening in mid side, because they knew where Markun was. They knew where Advian was. They should have known this was happening. I think, honestly, that's a big mistake there from Barrage.
Yeah, it was a massive fumble by them. And what that has now done is that has put us 4,000 gold up for XL with 10 minutes into the game. Again, just a massive, massive gold lead accruing for XL. And if we toggle out of the individual gold and look at where that is now in items, Arome finished the Stride Breaker while Mumus is just sitting on the Sheen and the 2 components for that Phage. Mid lane, building towards the Essence Reaver on Hatrix is a random force to flash. Hatrix not really going to have the damage to kill him yet underneath that tower, but it's starting to really snowball once again out of control for Barrage. Now, the one thing they can take and one thing they can be happy with is they actually got that dragon earlier, which means they're not at a threat of an early Dragon Soul once again, but that's going to be the Ragnarok popped already. Markun has to jump away. The Curtain Call is going to clip. Deadly just going to tank those shots, and Markun's able to get away. The double kill's picked up by Hatrix, and now Seth slowed down by Big Ben. And Avian's going to flash. He's going to pulverize. He's going to headbutt. Here's the wallop. The solar flare actually is going to be enough for Kevin to be able to secure the kill on the tail end, but it's scraps. It's table scraps for Barrage at this point.
Barrage are being made to
back
look
to the top lane.
Yeah, Romy just going to pick up that wave right there, and he roamed, got the play, and got back to get the wave. He didn't really have to lose anything on right there, and really just goes to show the caliber of team that BTXL is, because there were some questions about, you know, the different strengths of Group A compared to Group B. BTXL topping Group A, arguably not the strongest group, whereas Group B was a lot more competitive, and Barrage still managed to come out with a 7-3 record. And to be honest, like, BTXL are making Barrage look like amateurs in this game right here. And that's not a diss at Barrage, it's just how good this BTXL squad is, as I look for another dive onto Mumus.
Yeah, they're going to jump in onto Mumus. They're waiting out the hook shot. No Gnar available. Markun can't take away that quad camp, and Arome just working away at this tower. Zoning Mumus off hard. 107 CS to 71 CS right now in that top side. It is really, really rough for Mumus. And remember, Mumus is a very storied player. He's a very experienced player. This isn't like some newbie. This is just Arome completely gapping at the moment over Mumus.
Yeah, this is Markun did a great job of putting Arome ahead, but blimey, like it's just incredible. Like Arome is the lane that every jungler dreams of, where you actually put time and resources into him, and he takes those resources and snowballs the lead. You know, there's nothing worse than when you're playing jungle and you've gone to a lane, you've camped that lane, you've ganked that lane, you've gotten them kills, and then they still lose. You know, they still have 0 impact in the game. Arome is just showing time and time again why he's so good. BTXL scared the.
I don't know why the Ragnarok was used there. Is it for you? The blast gun doesn't work for you on that one. Ooh, I can't believe that spear hit. This is just a good investment by Markun. You know, put 300 gold worth of a kill into Mumus, and he rode that to the moon.
He really did, and you know, I mean, what more can we expect from Rumi? I almost feel like a broken record, just like hyping him up. Honestly, like I do think he is the best player we have in NLC. I'm just gonna say it. Actually, we do have Featherman as well. That's close, but I think honestly, in current form,
I think consistency, Arome has been more consistent than Featherman. Featherman's been amazing, right? But he has had games where he hasn't looked as crisp as you would have expected someone like Featherman to be, where Arome's honestly just smurfed it. He just got to say it. He's absolutely smurfed it so far.
He legit has. Like, he has been so good, and it really just creates a lot of space for the rest of BTXL. Because if you look at Deadly and you look at Hatrix, like, they're not necessarily the primary carries of this squad, but the fact that they are able to have someone like Arome on their team means that they can play a really chilled out game. And these guys are your late game insurance carries. You know, if a game does go to that kind of like 30-minute mark, 40-minute mark, if you can even get that in this meta, you know, BTXL can rely on those. But Barrage have taken a fight. I don't think they want it. Oh dear.
Yeah, Ghost was used as well, but the Stride Breaker slow just a bit too much. Is Kevo going for a 1v1 with Hatrix? I don't know if you win that one, Kevo. Here comes Avian. And
Howard.
Kevo,
It's not a 1v1.
you're in trouble, and Hat-Trick secures the kill with the W.
Yeah, even Deadly tried to get the chaos in that one right there. Honestly, where is your honor? Oh god.
Oh
All
my
right,
lord,
so-
this is actually tragic.
Yeah, BTXL have just lost. They've just lost their cares. You know, they just don't have any more cares to give at this point. It's, you know, they understand the commanding position they're in this game. They're almost 10,000 gold up at 15 minutes. Deadly here trying his best to throw a bone to Barrage, but it's just not happening. Almost.
Might be looking for the solo kill, gets the ulti off, gets a 700 gold
Right.
shutdown, but Marcoon's coming in. Now Seth getting caught out as well. It's actually Deadly to lose his life. XL lose a couple of members. Marcoon lands the spear, gets the kill onto Murmus. But that's
Okay.
700 gold injected into the Camille, who was 0 and 5. Or 0 and 4.
Yeah. They'll take that. They'll take that. You know, that is decent amount of gold into the pockets of Barrage right there. And we're going to see this again. So Deadly, this is what I was talking about. You can't really catch him out. Like this is the whole Leona combo, but Ez is Ez and he has cleanse. Like that's just not happening. But then Mummus against Lucian, it's a different story. Waits on the hook shot, waits for the dash from Hat-Tricks, and then just easy kill right there. And it looks like Deadly, I'm not 100% sure how he got caught out in the end there, but kind of overstayed his welcome. And yeah, just 2 kills right there for Barrage is, I mean, obviously it's premature to say that this is how you throw a game for BTXL, but
Yeah. It's mistakes you don't want to be making. Oh, Hat-Tricks just slides into Kevo's DM, and Deadly finishes him up. Easy as that.
Good heavens, man. I mean,
Yeah, Gale Force is fun. Gale Force is fun. I do remember, though, if you are a Barrage fan and you're watching this at home, Barrage don't get knocked out of the tournament if they lose this. This is the upper bracket. They get knocked into the losers bracket, and then they can still have a chance to climb all the way through into the finals from the losers bracket. So you do get a second chance. It's double elimination here. So it was a hard game to open up onto, but it isn't the end of the world for Barrage yet. Even if they do end up dropping this game and getting 2-0'd by XL, which is looking likely at the moment. Unless Barrage can find a couple more nice shutdowns like they did earlier. Nice few punishes.
and to be honest, we've seen a lot of stories of teams that have gotten embarrassed in the first rounds of the playoffs in the upper bracket and then made the miracle run from the losers into finals to take it all. So, no, it's not unheard of. It's not a story that's not been told before. Barrage obviously are going to have to do a lot of soul searching before that matchup if they were to make it so far. But you're absolutely right. They are going to have a second chance at redemption here. But I think in this game, Romi's not going to let anyone have any sort of redemption. It's going in on Mummus.
Yeah, has got Dibu at his back, and now Hirome goes for the slam back, but Ragnarok is used, and Hirome has to flash away. Getting chased down, got the teleport coming in. Friends are on the way, gets the wallop off. Here comes Hat-Tricks. Hirome's shield is on, and that is going to be the shutdown picked up with the culling for the turnaround from Hat-Tricks. Dibu trying to run Hat-Tricks down, but Hat-Tricks does way too much damage. A 2-for-1 trade for XL.
That's honestly really well played by Hat-Tricks as well. The combo that he used right there to pick off the Camille, because Camille almost got out. She was mid-hook shot when she died. And then obviously following up the culling, which finished off Mummus to heavily blast Dibu as well. Like, there is a world where you can completely fluff that up, and Hat-Tricks actually doesn't really, get anything there. Maybe that's just the world I live in, because I'm not as good as this guy is at League of Legends, but still, he did play that one quite well, which is nice, because honestly, like, Hat-Tricks is a player that we consider more towards the control mages. He's very good at Orianna. He loves playing that. Victor, he's good at Twisted Fate. But to have that diversity, to be able to pick something like Lucian as well, obviously having more tools in your arsenal as you approach playoffs is nothing but a good thing.
Yeah, it's one of those it's one of those picks that it was kind of all AD carries needed to know how to play it for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like it's a mid laner pick. Like, you need to know how to play Lucian if you play mid, because this champion just seems to be so flexible and always kind of relevant as a threatening, aggressive pick in the mid lane. Flash was used though by Seth in the mid lane. I didn't see if it was a Hex Flash or a real Flash, but he did go for the Solar Flare. Deadly cleansed it instantly, so I think it was a real Flash from Seth.
There's just no point. Like, you just can't catch BCXL. They are just so mobile. Like, picking this Leona, I don't know.
XL might be able to pick onto Barrage, but might be eating your words a little bit there, Foxy. Barrage get the kills random. Let's kill one on to the support for XL. There needs to be careful. Remember, no cleanse available, but has got his teammates at his back, and Arome now starting to stack up that Gnar. Deadly Flourish is going to go wide, and that's going to be the ulti popped onto the back, but Marcoon gets himself a rampage kill. Hatrix just cuts down the support, and Random has to flash away. Here comes the True Shot Barrage, just to clear through the minions a little bit, and XL, it started with their support getting caught off, maybe being a little bit too aggressive, but they turn it back around.
There was a small window there for Barrage to be able to take that team fight and win it. And I thought as it was all starting that BTXL may be biting off more than they could chew, because it looked like they were the ones who were going to chase into Barrage, into a choke point as Mumus was rotating up. But they decided against that. And then when it becomes a story of Barrage engaging the play, that's when it all goes wrong. Barrage, you are still ridiculously far behind this game. You cannot be doing those things. They get punished. BTXL pick up the Baron, and they've now extended their gold lead to almost 12,000.
Oh, he taxied in on the minions. Kevo able to survive for now, but being hunted down. Hatrix just flashes forward to make sure the kill's picked up. Now Mumus might look to try and catch on to Hatrix, but Hatrix has friends on the way, and Mumus just going to get killed. As Marcoon secures the kill, Adrian getting knocked up, slowly but surely being taken out. Zibu's able to get it, but here comes Arome, got the slam, 2 members into the wall. Hatrix comes in, and another couple of kills to tidy it up. It's a double for Marcoon. The True Shot Barrage not going to hit Random. Random, the only standing member of Barrage right now, and he has to deal with these Baron sieges from XL.
Yeah, Victor's got a very good wave clear, but against 3 members when you're on your own and there's a Baron buff, I'm not quite sure that wave clear is going to be enough. He's going to lose that tower right there. XL now going to probably rotate to bot side because Romi's got a full wave there with that Baron.
Remy might just take this tower on his own. That's a Gnar out. Random gets jumped onto by Hatrix, and oh my lord, Hatrix is kind of nasty right now.
Kind of. Just a little bit. A little bit very much nasty. He's doing so much damage right here. It's kind of crazy, honestly. Like, but then again, BTXL are just so far ahead this game. It's a real pleasure to watch these guys play when they do get a lead, because they're so good at pressing it. I mean, just look at this. Like, what do you do if you're Barrage?
You have to hope that this final engage might be your last. Might work for you as the Solar Flare connects, and that is Hatrix shut down by Dibu. Onto that back, he's trying to kill Deadly, unable to do so. Trading out in a 1-for-1, but Barrage answer out. That True Shot Barrage clips almost onto Seth, but it's not going to find the kill. The curtain can't find its mark either, and Barrage trade up there.
Yeah,
a couple more picks like that, and they might be able to alleviate themselves a little bit of time, if anything.
Yeah, that's the important thing. You're just buying time right here. Obviously, those 2 kills aren't going to win you the game by themselves, but it does stop this Baron push. And, you know, you haven't lost too much in that Baron play, so you'll be happy with that. Plus, obviously, any chance you can get here, getting a little bit of extra gold and experience, you will absolutely take if you're Barrage. Even if it means being able to pick up a wave or 2, being able to pick up your jungle, a golden experience from getting kills as well. Like, you need everything you can get your hands on right here. And you'll take it, you know, you'll definitely take it, but it looks like Romi's not done with hunting down Barrage players.
Yeah, I don't know if Seth wants this. I don't know if Random wants this either. Stride Breaker's used for the slow, and they're doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Kevo's just getting assassinated by Hatrix. About to Gnar out here. This could be dangerous if Arome gets it off, as he does jump in, get the Gnar, misses out on the wallet. The True Shot Barrage almost cuts through. Arome finds himself the kill in a 1-versus-4 scenario. Meanwhile, in their own base, Barrage are going to lose 2 inhibitors here to XL. The Dragon's on the map as well, so XL will go and take that as their prize.
Yeah, you're trading kills, but losing 2 inhibitors, that's going to keep you in your base for a long time. But this is where that early Dragon that Barrage took is really paying dividends, because this is not Ocean Soul anymore. You know, you have a little bit more time to buy here. You're going to have 1 more Dragon before that soul goes down. Being able to pick up that mountain, that first Dragon of the game early on for Barrage, has bought them a little bit of time here. But I really think they're going to need a whole lot more than the 5 minutes this is going to create for them. But at least it's something.
Well, let's have a look at the... I believe this is the top lane. Yep, from Arome. He's just so strong right now. To be able to deal with 4 members and get a kill.
Yeah, it's nasty. You know, this is the thing. Like, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either you collapse on Arome, to bring him down, who, by the way, still gets a kill in a 4v1 situation. Or you defend your base, but you can't do both, and BTXL are just punishing Barrage.
Random is so low. They do jump onto a Rome once again. He's CC'd before he can do anything. And now Mumus getting chunked out pretty heavily by Hatrix. The rest of XL are on their way over. Does look like the reset's going to come in time for the Victor. He's going to be able to get out from that one.
Look at Marcoon, though. Marcoon's there.
And he find the assassination off? That's the question. Dibu eats the spear. The angry bee goes up. Marcoon can't find himself the leap. Misses out on the next spear as he eats the trap, and that's going to slow him down. So XL just going to lose their top laner. Barrage in this game definitely doing a better job of finding moments to punish, finding moments to get some gold injected into them. The problem is they're just quite far behind right now.
Yeah, you do have to give praise to Barrage for their ability to find some of these kills. So they are going to look for an engage now, 4v5.
Yeah, onto Hatrix. They're going to pin him inside that ulti. Advian bops Seth away. Seth needs to look for a good solar flare. 4-man pulverize from Advian, but he's going to lose his life. Here's the stride breaker. The true shot barrage from Deadly kills Dibu. Now Kevo chunked out as well by a couple of shots from Deadly. And again, Barrage, they find themselves a good little pick, but the problem is there's supers in their base. There's a siege in the top lane. Only one turret remains, and Random is eating that culling. Hatrix finds himself one. Random will lose his life. Marcoon collects in on the kill, and Kevo just getting chunked out by Hatrix. A 4-level gold lead. Hatrix goes down as gets a little bit too over-eager to pad that KDA in this game, but the fountain will not be enough, will not be a safe respite here for Barrage anymore. As their nexus has been exposed, all of their structures have crumbled to the siege of XL. 26 minutes on the clock, and XL are through to the upper bracket finals.
Man, what a dominating series we got there from BTXL. I don't think there was a single point in that series where it didn't look like BTXL were going to run away with it all. Like, they were just so dominant right there, so strong, and huge hero performances for me coming out of Rome, Marcoon as well. Hatrix stepping up in that last game on that Lucian pick. But honestly, like, they're just looking formidable across the board, all of them.
They really are. They're honestly just a really solid game from XL. I think it's quite hard to analyze what Barrage need to work on, because they were just so much weaker than XL in this series, unfortunately. I think for them, it's when we get into this loser bracket finals, we need to see some growth from them, and then maybe look to kind of replicate what they were doing at the end of that second game, but for an entire series and a lot earlier, so they can maybe actually keep themselves relevant, because they just fell too far behind. Honestly, I'm going to be really excited to see what our analysts have to say on that one. So we're going to throw to a break. Max, roll the adverts.
We fall so hard to tend the gardens for strong and lonely hearts. The roofs are falling under the bulls left in the summer, striving to find places for cover. We can't look back. This land of which we claimed, wash it from our hands. Don't flinch or move a mile. It's safer for the houses are proud. We'll live near the forest. Say all your prayers. Ears to the ground. We can't look back. Breaking your backs and falling on the stone. Out on my own. birds sing higher with the breeze. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Over the seas, the blue and the green. You got the power. You show the way. You got the power. That's so great.
Welcome back, everybody, to the NLC. XL absolutely stomped that series. I don't think there isn't really any other way of putting it. I wanted to give Barrage some credit, but both games were complete rollickings by the XL roster, and they really did come into the playoffs looking the strongest I think I've seen them all split.
Yeah, and we thought Barrage was going to be able to mental reset, but quite frankly, coming out with a worse game than they had in their game one, and I can't really blame them. Like, Macoon was absolutely smurfing the early game, and when Aroma first got that lead, it was like there was no going back. He kept snowballing, and then all of a sudden it just translated to the rest of the map, and it just looked like Barrage never found their footing in this match, and yeah, that was the game too.
Yeah, that was definitely a game too. Do you know what? Actually, I've got Deadly on standby for an interview, so I'm going to bring him in and have a chat. Hello, Deadly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You all right?
Hey, yeah. How are you, mate? How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
You just absolutely smashed Barrage. Like that was not a close series whatsoever. I think a lot of us were expecting Barrage to put up more of an effort. Well, okay, effort's the wrong word. Effort's a really bad word, actually. We were expecting them to put up more of a fight, I guess, in this series, right? I think we were expecting a bit more of a closer one, especially with the way Barrage had been looking in the second half of the split. Were you expecting it to be more of a challenge, or did you just kind of hit the drafts that you wanted? You played the game that you wanted, and it was easy like that?
To be honest, I thought it was going to be a lot harder. I think they kind of underperformed. They did a lot of mechanical mistakes, especially in the first game. I don't know. I feel just they didn't show up on the day, and I feel like against another team, they could probably beat them.
And actually, I'm interested about that because we get this from a lot of teams. Because obviously, I don't want to put too much crap on Barrage's plate. Sometimes you just don't perform when it counts, right? And that is something that plagues every esports team. But is that something that that even the likes of you guys feel like when you turn up, sometimes you just have a bad day? Is that something that genuinely happens quite often, even in the big moments?
Honestly, I think this happens in all sports and esports. Like everyone can have a rough day. Obviously, it affects your mechanical skill. Not just that, maybe your communication is off. Maybe you slept bad. I don't know. But anybody can go through this. Even us, we did last year. But it's just working on it, to be honest, and making sure that you sleep well, you eat well, and all of that.
Yeah, you mitigate everything that could put you into a bad day as much as you physically can. But even if you do everything that you can to mitigate it, sometimes you're just going to load onto the Rift and not be playing at your best. And of course, that's probably what we saw from Barrage today. They just weren't playing at their best. I think coming in, like, how much of a psychopath is your jungler? This guy's an absolute monster. How much of a psychopath is Marcoon? Because that second game, he was not holding anything back.
No, he's definitely very, very good. I thought he was underrated the split before. And when he was in the Spanish league, I definitely saw like he was up there to be like the next LEC jungler. So I'm really happy we have him. He's also a really good teammate. He's a really nice guy as well. I have a lot of fun with him.
And actually, we kind of talked a little bit about how when we were looking at old XL, you kind of were the guy where it was like pile resources into deadly carries. Like that's basically how a lot of the old XL games used to go. You were like the hyper carry guy. Often you got funneled in terms of experience in gold. You were left alone bot lane to soak experience and waves over and over again. How does it feel now playing on XL when you've got hat-tricks who can pop off like he did with Lucian? You've got Marcoon who can play for lanes and play the carry junglers. You've got a Rome in the top lane who's one of the best top laners, if not just the best top laner in our league. Does that take pressure off your shoulders? And you can play a bit more like facilitating? Like how does that feel for you now?
To be honest, dude, I'm just chilling. Like, this is so free for me. I'm not doing anything in any of the games. Like, it's just free. I think anybody can do my job right now.
Oh, mate, but actually that's a change, right? That is a bit of a change from the way I think it used to be. Like I think there was pressure on Deadly in the last year to be that kind of guy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I felt like last year, if I had a bad day or if the game didn't like cater towards what I needed, the game was pretty much doomed. But right now, dude, I just last hit minions and I get a win. I'm pretty lucky.
Oh, look, you obviously are now taking on Fnatic in the next series in the upper bracket. Well, actually, that's a lie because Fnatic haven't played. Sorry, I thought Fnatic had already gone. So I predicted Fnatic. My brain's already registered. But obviously, Fnatic, they come in as a clear favorite. If you are to face Fnatic, are you going to be keeping your eyes on this next series coming up? And have you kind of prepped for them as a particular opponent?
Well, I think tomorrow is the day off, so I think we're going to get some beers and watch the next games, as a team.
Yeah, well, take some time off, mate. You definitely deserve it. And obviously, congratulations. That was a really, really strong series.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Tricked.
You did Trick dirty.
So dirty. I did Trick so dirty. Look, Tricked, if you're watching, I'm so sorry. You still have a series to play.
Wow.
All right. Honestly, I expected this to come from Deadly, where he's like, dude, listen, I'm just chilling back, last hitting minions, and taking the W's home because I don't even know what clip you've chosen, Gulbog, but that psychopath in BTXL's jungle who clears bot side and runs it up top before even the Camille has time to ward the bush, because he should not be there. He should not ignore his entire top side. He should not go straight top lane to gank for that Nard to get ahead. It is absolutely mind-blowing. At the same time, Hatrix is getting a kill almost on Olaf, so he also steals the red buff and leaves the blue buff up for whenever he wants to take it. The runs both side takes Scuttle Crab, the runs top side gets the other Scuttle Crab. I'm done.
Okay.
This guy's just...
You can tell Trouble is very passionate about Macoon, and for
she
good
likes
reason.
Macoon.
So,
she's a big fan.
in short, what Trouble said there, keep an eye out for Macoon for the rest of playoffs.
And maybe in the future too, because I think this guy, as Deadly said clearly, is one of the big up-and-coming junglers in our region in its entirety. We're exporting junglers at a crazy rate, by the way. Like, we've got incredible junglers in this region. I used to be EU mids, man. I genuinely think over the next few years, it's going to be EU jungles, man. I think we've got some insane junglers in this region. Gulbog, which clip have you chosen, by the way?
So yeah,
I hope it wasn't that much spoiler, Gulbog.
I'm just gonna let it play. Obviously, there was a lot of clips to play for, but this is when they just acquired Baron. And take a look at the minimap. Deadly recalled. He's just chilling, mate. He's not even part of this clip. So at the end, taxis it forward as Hitbrain put it in, gets a nice little knock up, and then the flash from Hattrick here is just slick. I just love how it looks. E flash into the W that hits with the auto attacks, and obviously the rest of the team is coming in, but you know what? They ain't got nothing on BTXL. I'm just gonna spoil it. There's nothing analytical about this play, all right? I'm just looking at this again because I liked it. Oh, Rome come in and look at the Narbot. There's nothing left of it, but he still gets an entire combo off. Strideberger, stun, ult, and it's just beautiful. Like, BTXL, like, what do you want me to analyze in this game? They stomped, they won. They're clear favorites to this league. They're so damn good.
Yeah, I think the passion coming through in your voice says it all. There was nothing to analyze that game. XL just took an absolute stomp, and there was nothing. I was about to say another word, and I'm glad I didn't. There's nothing that Barrage could have done about it. Guys, we have got to go to a short break. We're going to go to a slightly extended break because we have that series was over so quickly. We've got to give time for Fnatic and Trick to prepare to get into the next one. So it'll be about 10 minutes when we're back. We'll have our first game from the Fnatic and Trick series.